0% of Protestants actually uphold the Nicene Creed. Protestants are not one in any meaningful sense. It is the symbol of faith, which makes it something that is not up for debate or subject to change. On top of all the dogmas I've already listed, like the necessity of baptism, since I mentioned the Nicene Creed, it's in the interest of the viewers that I clarify my meaning, since many Protestants listening will surely take issue with me saying they reject it. So let it be abundantly clear. Protestants do not accept the Creed, even though many say they do. With all due respect, precisely 0% of Protestants actually uphold the Nicene Creed. Because the Creed is not a piecemeal profession. It is the symbol of faith, the objective standard of what one must necessarily affirm to have and maintain their Christian identity, and where the canonical boundaries of the Church are, which makes it something that is not up for debate or subject to change. If one line or even one syllable is added, removed, rejected, then you de facto reject the totality of the Creed. Because every line was written and intended to be read in the context of all the others, by authors who were living in a liturgical and sacramental environment. For example, I believe in one holy, Catholic, and apostolic church. I'm sorry, but Protestants deny this. It is nonsensical to insist that Protestants accept the Creed when they openly and explicitly reject the intended meaning of those who wrote it. Their invisible church ecclesiology precludes the type of unity the Creed's authors were referring to, which is maintained by canonical churches being in communion with one another, professing all the same dogmas and doctrines, which is what makes them one. Catholicity denotes how Christ's body possesses the perfect fullness of faith, where nothing essential is lacking for the genuine church Jesus established, as God himself is fully revealed and is equally, universally present in every local church where initiated believers convene to participate in the kingdom of God. Protestants are not one in any meaningful sense, nor do they share the same beliefs, nor are they apostolic in nature.
Who among Protestants are the saints? That's not a rhetorical question. I mean, have you ever thought about it before? Well, let's think about it. Surely you'd consider the apostles to be saints, right? Okay, so what about after them? Who, after the apostles, is the earliest person who'd meet all the qualifications of sainthood? Meaning they didn't openly believe and teach a whole set of heresies that they never repented of. Because one major argument I addressed in my last video on apostolic succession was this notion that the apostolic office ceased to exist immediately after the church's inception when the last apostle died, and that there are no more specified authorities occupying those roles. But now I'm wondering if the reasoning is really so extreme that Protestants not only believe that the church is no longer apostolic in nature, but that it's no longer holy. That sainthood itself has also ceased to be attained to by anyone. And if it hasn't, then where are your saints? Why don't you formally recognize or identify anyone as a saint? While you may celebrate some of the predecessors of your movement, I have never heard anyone refer to a Saint Martin Luther or a Saint John Calvin, a Saint Billy Graham, a Saint R.C. Sproul.
Also, I confess one baptism for the remission of sins. As has already been covered here, Protestants are still debating the role and function of baptism to this day, arguing over whether or not there is baptismal regeneration, whether baptism is necessary for salvation, or if it's just symbolic as an outward sign of an inward change, and a huge percentage of them are partial to the symbolic view of all the sacraments and have wholly dispensed with them, despite that, historically, initiation rituals have always been viewed as a requisite facet of the spiritual life, as seen in both the Old and New Testament. The fact that Protestants can't figure out or agree on the thing that is literally step one of the faith is honestly just sad. The Orthodox Church never had this problem, as it never lost sight of the nature of the sacraments or their purpose.
One does not simply walk into Mordor
And just choose which portions of the creed to reject. As if you can trust an idolatrous institution of heretics to have explicated the doctrine of the Trinity correctly, so you'll keep that part because you happen to agree, but then arbitrarily reject the portions you don't personally think are acceptable. Get rid of that. Either one affirms the creed in its entirety in the context of the author's intended meaning, or they are tacitly rejecting the creed despite any claims to the contrary.
If you enjoyed this clip, follow the link for the full video and be sure to subscribe for more content in the future.